you just don't want to fall into that hole. I mean, you really don't want to fall into that hole, because once you're in there, you can't get back out. Hello lovely couples, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Lauren, wedding planner and owner of Bluebird Creative. I provide a weekly dose of wedding planning goodness for the modern couple. So if you haven't already, guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit the bell so that you'll be notified every week when a new video lands. This week we are going to be talking about 9 traps that you do not want to fall into when you are planning your wedding. So let's not hesitate here, guys. Let's jump straight into the video. So let's just get going straight away. Number 1 is keeping up with the Joneses. Now, I don't know if that's a UK saying over here, so let me explain. Do not feel like you have to keep up with what other people are doing. If your friends did X, you do not have to do X, and you don't have to level up and make it one better either. You know, if somebody's done something, don't also feel like, oh, I can't do that because they've done that. Guys, something I'm going to say throughout this whole video, and I say across all my videos because it is my ethos, it is what we are all about over here at Bluebird. You do you, guys. It is your wedding day, and therefore it is about you, and therefore make the decisions that make you happy. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. So let's move on to number 2, which is don't fall into the trap of feeling like you have to follow all the current trends. Trends are there to inspire you, guys, okay? If you don't like burnt orange and rust, don't have burnt orange and rust. If you want lilac and peach, do that. Great colour combo, by the way. But if you don't like lilac and peach, also do not feel like you have to do that. Do you like dried flowers? Great, do that. Do you like fake flowers? Great, do that. You know, it doesn't matter what's trending, and it doesn't matter what other people think is cool or on trend. It's about what you like, because again, guys, it's your day, so you do you. Number 3, and this is the biggie, and this is the most important one, guys. Number 3 is do not fall in to the trap, I'm passionate about this, of overspending. You have a budget, you need to stick to that budget because you don't have anything else, okay? You're going to set your budget and you're going to stick to it. And it is so easy to just end up overspending and going, but I really want that. Or just not even tracking what you're spending. If you haven't got our wedding planning toolkit, that is linked in the description box below for you. It is a super low cost. It is going to help you stay organized. You can track your budget. You can track your payments. You will not overspend. Say it to me now, guys. You will not overspend. Do not allow that to happen, because that is a hole that you cannot get back out of. Once you've committed to those prices and signed those contracts and paid those deposits, you cannot get back out of that hole. So just be really cautious. Do not fall into that trap of wanting this and all the shiny things. Use the spreadsheet, guys. Use the spreadsheet. I know it's boring, they're ugly, they're not pretty, but they will save you a lot of stress. Number 4 is invitations, and I'm going to break this down into 4.1 and I'm going to break it down into 4.2. 4.1 is don't fall into the trap of feeling like you have to send physical invitations. You don't, okay? You can set up a wedding website. You can send everybody an email from there. They can RSVP, which takes you back onto the website. It can track their dietaries. It's all on the website. It's lovely and it's easy, and it makes your life so much easier. So don't feel like you have to do invitations because that's the thing on the checklist that people tell you what to do. Don't fall into that trap, okay? Because it doesn't matter. If you want to do invitations because you love stationery, or for whatever reason that you might decide that you want to do it, that's absolutely fine and absolutely go ahead. But I feel like so many people think, okay, this is the done thing and therefore this is what I have to do. And you don't, because it's your day and you can do it however you want to do it. 4.2 with invitations is don't feel like you have to invite everybody. If you went to Sharon's wedding 5 years ago and you and Sharon are no longer friends, you do not need to invite Sharon to your wedding because you don't see her, because she's not your friend anymore. It doesn't matter that you went to her wedding. I did a video specifically on this topic, so I will link it up here where I go into things in a little bit more depth for you. Number 5 is doing everything yourself. You do not have to do everything yourself. You may have a partner that is incredible and amazing and you are just a team, just genuinely in life, and everything is 50-50, and therefore you're going to split the planning and one of you is going to take on these tasks and one of you is going to take on these tasks. Amazing. Or perhaps you've decided that you're going to take on the majority of the planning in your household, and that's great, and that's nothing against the other person. Perhaps it's not their thing, perhaps they're really busy with work, whatever the reasons are, it doesn't matter. But don't feel like you have to take it all on yourself. Enlist help with your mum or your dad or a sibling or a friend. Make sure that you've got people that you can talk to about the planning, because it can be a stressful process. So make sure you can kind of spread that load where possible. You know, do you need to enlist the help of a wedding planner? Perhaps if you don't have budget for a wedding planner, you can look and see if somebody can help with just consultation hours. That's something that we do over here at Bluebird, and we work with couples across the world. We've had couples in Portland and couples in Boston and couples over here in the UK and across the globe, and we literally book an hour in and we answer any of their questions and any of the bits that they're stuck with. So perhaps that's something that would work for you. You want to find somebody that you could lean on, that you can pick their brains, and that will take a little bit of the stress off of you. Number 6 is feeling like you have to please everybody. Do not fall into this trap, my friends. It is not a nice one. Something I want you to think of, and something I want you to remember here, is when you look back at your wedding day, are you going to look back and go, I wish we hadn't done that, and I did that to please such and such? Or I wish we had included this, but such and such told me I shouldn't do it, or persuaded me not to do it. Just remember, guys, it's your wedding day, and the people around you should support your decisions to make it about you, to make it personal to you. And perhaps you're really chilled and you don't really mind, and that's cool. But if you do care about things, don't feel like you have to make decisions just to please other people, because it is your day, and it's the one day in your life where it is about you and you can make the decisions that make you happy. We're in a new day and age now, guys, with weddings, where it's about you and your decisions count and not everybody else's. So I'm just going to leave that there for you to kind of sit on and think about. Number 7 is wanting to DIY everything. You do not need to DIY everything. Now, I appreciate you might be sitting there right now saying, Lauren, I don't have the budget, so therefore I have to DIY everything. No, you don't. Make a decision to DIY a couple of things. I'm here for the DIY, guys. I love a bit of DIY. I did some DIY for my own wedding. I did quite a few DIY projects. But just think about these few things before you get cracking. First of all, have you got space for all your DIY projects when they're finished? Are they going to stay dry and stored well, and, you know, all the things that you need, like a cool, dry place or something, depending on what you're making? So have you got the space? Have you considered how much time you've got to actually make all of these projects? And have you actually researched how much it would cost to buy or to hire these things? Because actually, you might find that it's cheaper. After all, once you've added up all the things that you have to buy, it might be cheaper to hire. It's also better for the environment to hire, because we're not buying extra things. So just something to bear in mind, okay? Is it something that you can sell on? If it's not, do you want that just hanging around in your house afterwards? And also bear in mind, if you take on too many projects, you might get halfway through them and think, oh my God, I'm so over this, because it's taking up so much of your time. Are you somebody that likes repetitive tasks? If you don't, maybe don't make your own invitations and stationery, because it's very repetitive. So just bear those sorts of things in mind. Maybe just pick a couple of projects. Do not fall into the trap of going, I'm going to DIY my whole wedding, because you may get halfway through and regret it, and I don't want that for you. Number 8. This is very important, guys. Number 8 is to make sure that you actually feed your guests properly. I have only stumbled across this a couple of times, okay? But do not feel like you can scrimp back on food to save money. You do not want hangry guests at your wedding. You do not want extremely drunken guests at your wedding because they haven't really been fed. You just do not want unhappy guests because they're still hungry. It is, in my opinion, a little bit rude to scrimp back on feeding your guests at your wedding. If you decide to cut canapes, just bear in mind, what time was your ceremony? Did it go across lunch? Are they not going to eat till 5 o'clock? They're going to be really hungry. And they're also probably going to be really drunk because they would have been drinking throughout the drinks reception. So just bear that in mind. Perhaps you want to remove the starters. That's probably not such a big deal because you know that there's still food coming and they might have just had canapes. You might not want to do a 3-course meal. That's absolutely fine. But just bear in mind what you are feeding your guests. This is going to be a bit controversial, but I just never think sandwiches goes down well with wedding guests because it's not filling enough. People are going to be hungry. They need a dinner. And I appreciate the fact that you may only have a specific budget, and that is nothing against people that are going for sandwiches, but just bear in mind your guest experience, because guests will come away from a wedding and they will remember food and entertainment. That is what they are going to remember. They won't remember all the details that you put into the day. Those things are for you, but they will remember the food and the entertainment because that directly affects them and their experience of your wedding day. So just bear that one in mind and don't fall into that trap. Even if you do a hog roast or a barbecue, you can definitely, and I'm going to do a video on this, I promise, about saving money on your wedding food without starving your guests, okay? Let's move on to number 9 and the final one, number 9, which is to not forget soft drinks. So often couples will be like, okay, we've got everything covered. We've got the Prosecco or the champagne. We've got the ingredients for the cocktails. We've got the spirits. We've got the wine. We've got the beer. Obviously, this is if you're doing a dry hire. And then they'll realise, or I'll bring it up in a meeting, so what are the guests that aren't drinking having? Oh, we haven't really thought about that. We can make sure there's some water available. Again, guest experience, guys. Those people that don't drink or are driving or are pregnant or just children, it's not really fair to just leave them with water. So just bear in mind and don't fall into the trap of only leaving them with the option of water. Give a little thought to the soft drinks options for your wedding day as well. So there we go, guys. 9 traps that you could very, very easily fall into when planning your wedding, but you're not going to now because you've watched this video and you're going to nail it. And you're also going to remember that it's your wedding day. I'm leaving you with this. It's your wedding day and you are going to do what makes you happy on your day. You do you, guys. Have a fantastic week and I'll see you on the next one.